Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the program. Different countries around the world have specific potential and sources of riches and strength. Some have minerals, others have political and military might. Some others are outstanding in technology, in sports, and various forms of soft power. Human wealth is what a number of countries count on. Our country, Cameroon. Cameroon is blessed with everything. Yes, everything. But the way we manage our wealth is raising dust. And some people are asking rhetorical questions. They describe our minerals as the paradox of plenty. Extremists even call them a curse, simply because we have so much, yet we are poor. Look at our population, its diversity and strength, and that is our area of concern today. It is 70% youthful, vibrant, productive, with a strong and vigorous diaspora hungry to come back and contribute to nation building. What are the problems faced by the Cameroonian youth and the diaspora? What are the possible solutions to their problems? And what could be the consequences if the solutions to these problems were delayed? That is going to be our focus on Press Hour today. I am Killian Dandifon in Yaoundé. You are welcome. We have had recent developments on our youth, vibrant youth, some of them exercising a lot of vigor agitation. We have heard, we have seen, we have heard about our diaspora. Some of them have got angry and have even gone violent. What is the problem? We're going to raise some of these problems on our set today. And we have invited just the people you think we know can handle, can bring solutions, can suggest solutions to these problems. Permit me introduce Dr. Tuminta Kennedy. He is a Cameroonian diaspora in Germany. When you see him here all the time, know that he is just shifting from Cameroon to diaspora. Investment there, investment in Cameroon. You're welcome to this program today, Dr. Kennedy.
Thank you very much. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you for coming, and we hope you are based both in Cameroon and Germany at the same time. You're going to do a comparison of what's happening here. Now, let us introduce Dr. Joe Ngale. He is a Cameroonian diaspora in the United States of America. He visits Cameroon. He is based and works in the United States of America. He knows so much about what the youth can do to better the conditions of their kind and of Cameroon as a whole. Dr. Joe, it's always a pleasure to have you on this set each time you come home. You're welcome.
Thank you, Killian, and thank you for having me, and thanks all the members of the panel, and I hope we'll have a fruitful discussion at the end of the show.
There are moments I call you the prophetic Joe because you see things and tell us what actually happens from your analysis.
Thank you.
We're going to introduce Mr. Amala Brooks. He is a Cameroonian diaspora, South Africa. You see how diverse our set is today. You're going to enjoy every bit of it. You're welcome to the program, Dr. Mr. Amala Brooks.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your program here. The good thing about me is that I've been around not only South Africa. Through me, you see Cameroonians all over. Spain, UK, South Africa, Ghana. I've been around there all this time.
Thank you.
So I'm happy to be on your program.
You are a diaspora, a Cameroonian diaspora around the world.
It's a pleasure to be
Thank you
here.
so much.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to introduce our own Professor Victor Baraka. He also, many people will not know whether he's based in Cameroon or in the United States. I bet you he loves his country. He says it and he's going to repeat it here.
That's it.
He loves Cameroon and he has contributions that will make you like to see Cameroon prosper. You're welcome to this set, Prof.
Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, Killian, and thanks to you and your great TV station, CRTV.
Yes, and the credit goes to the Director General of CRTV, who is the General Supervisor of Press Art. At this moment, Emmanuela Vemnui is going to read the newspapers for us, for you, and for us here on the set. Emmanuela.
Newspapers in Cameroon are awash with the release of the divisional officer of Idabato after almost 6 months in captivity. Kidnapped Idabato Dio Roland Ewane regains liberty in the Eden. The Dio, who was whisked away from his home Indian division, is set free in municipal updates. Breaking News Bileng reports that after being killed on social media severally, Roland Ewane is released at last. A release the voice sees as deep sigh and deep aches as the Dio is out of kidnappers' den 168 days after. In Cameroon Insider, then Prime Minister Head of Government Joseph Dion Gute receives freed Idabato Dio in Cameroon Tribune before he is eagerly received by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Tanganji, in the Guardian Post. Even though the paper thinks the release is not yet a celebration, as a second victim captured with the Dio remains in the custody of the Nigerian pirates. The media simply rejoices at the rescue of the Dio, noting that he looked tired and wasted. Just when Cameroon is set to begin industrial gold mining in the horizon, as country ushers in industrial gold mining era in landmark agreement in The Voice, Municipal Update sees Cameroon positioning itself as Africa's leading mining negotiator. Before the Post weighs in that the mining convention reached between the Ministry of Mines and Cameroon Mining Company offers enormous socio-economic benefits for Cameroon. To the Herald Tribune, this is made possible by the signing of the industrial gold mining agreements for the exploitation of the Mborgene gold mine in Betari Oya, East Cameroon. But all initiatives in this line will be done in all legality in the sector and beyond, as in a bid to curb public health, Risk Minister Fukalistus Gentry shuts down non-compliant alcohol producers in the littoral region. In municipal updates, the Guardian Post is clear that interim mines minister begins repression on whiskey companies in Douala for non-conformity, especially as Cameroon eyes major exporting country position for cement in Semak sub-region. In the Herald Tribune, interim Minister of Mines sets 3-month deadline for quarries in the littoral to meet new standard specifications so that the country can boost cement production to 12.7 million tons in The Voice newspaper. At a time, the implementation of the recommendations of the major national dialogue records progress in Cameroon Tribune. Government says actions are paying huge dividends in Cameroon Insider. Prime Minister is reportedly satisfied as he traces the way forward in the horizon, especially after counting major national dialogue gains in the Northwest region. In municipal updates, PM crusades for further engagement to fully revive the regions in the Chronicle Times. But Archbishop Andrew Nkeya insists on genuine dialogue, not force, to end the crisis in the Herald Tribune. Prime Minister then hails peace progress in the Northwest and Southwest and urges continued dialogue in The Voice. And as PM lauds gains and calls for renewed efforts in the Guardian Post, Archbishop Andrew Nkeya urges government to engage directly with Amber Boys in the same paper. There is a new leadership in place at the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon Insider, as Mickey Ayok era opens in Breaking News Bileng. This as Right Reverend Mickey Hans Abia is inducted new PCC moderator, while Reverend Ayok Solomon Eta takes mantle as senior clerk in the Sun newspaper. The Post reports that new PCC moderator pecks mandate on strengthening the church. PCC moderator dedicates mandate to edifying church in the dawn, and immediately Echo Outlook sees fresh hope for a bright new chapter in PCC, as PCC preaches peace in The Advocate, happening when Mondemba is set for Ondi and Cultural Festival from March 21 to 23 in Cameroon Acres. There is jubilation in Bokwango as CRTV's journalist Njembonde Arbeit is proclaimed chief in the median. Southwest Chiefs Conference then sets ambitious agenda for regional development in the Sun before kingmakers designate Bisong William again as chief of Manyemen in Cameroon Acres. Before the Guardian Post presents Yaoundé in a total mess as cabs, motorcycles and pedestrians battle with filth overflowing on roads. Until I come your way again, this is your Hour with the Press.
Thank you so much, Emanuela. It's all about the press. And thank you for reading the newspapers for us. The introduction was not complete. We wanted Cynthia Wanche, Communication and Advocacy Officer, National Society of Gynecologists and Obstetricians. She also is the National Public Relations Officer of the Cameroon Association of English-Speaking Journalists. You have taken your seat. I will want to introduce you. Welcome to Press Hour.
Thank you very much, Killian. It's a pleasure to be here, and I hope we have food for deliberations for this 1 hour.
Yes, and we are going to start with you. The first thing, in 1 week from Monday to today, Sunday, are 7 days of celebration of television in Cameroon. And just to let our viewers know that there will be a special Tam-Tam weekend on CRTV after Press Hour is going to end week-long celebrations marking 40 years of television in Cameroon. So you cannot miss that. We'll come back to you, Cynthia, to tell us as a journalist what impact in 40 years does television has television created in Cameroon.
Thank you very much, Killian. I must say that we have had positive as well as negative impacts. 40 years of the introduction of television in Cameroon. 1980.
1985?
It was in the 80s, it was a luxury. We had just the state-owned TV. 1990s, we witnessed the emergence of private media stations, TV stations, as well as cable TV. In 2000s, social media had come in again to further make the whole thing complicated. I think TV contributed in shaping who I am. It is from TV that I made up my mind in the early 2000s that I wanted to be a journalist.
I
mean, watching people on TV like Enanga Kebi, Tina Kowitz of Lecce inspired me into sports reporting. Ibrahim Sherif, you as well. There are just many people that TV helped in contributing or in shaping the person that I am today. And I know that this has equally been an impact on most Cameroonian youth or anyone who is a consumer of TV. It is true, opinions have been shaped by TV. We have learned about the culture, the 10 different cultures that characterize Cameroon from TV. But TV has also come again lots in recent times. There's a lot of mis and disinformation. You know, it's not only about consuming what we watch on TV, but we have also there's this trend that TV stations can equally be viewed on social media. And you know what social media has done to us. There is the good and there is the bad. Yes.
And even the ugly.
Yeah, and even the ugly.
Thank you so much. You spoke so well. The TV has had a lot of impact. Thank you, Cynthia. Yes, Joe, we should just ask you, if you were to, in one sentence, what impact TV has created. She went as far as getting into personal experience. TV inspired her. Some people who are working on TV inspired her to be what she is. And when you listen to her, TV actually made her to discover herself. What impact do you think TV has created? 40 years in Cameroon.
That's true, and Cynthia is right. Television has actually shaped our public opinion, and people are diverse today because they watch television, and created a lot of entertainment that we all enjoy. And at the same time, it has harnessed our own culture that if you look at people from different regions, nobody knew what the North or South or West or people coming from Southwest like myself, what kind of culture they had. But because all of this is promoted on television today, people have understood different cultures than who we are, and that, to me, in summary, is promoting our national unity. But at the same time, like she said, poses some negative consequences that entertainment by itself today has shaped our different culture into our own culture, because a lot of more watch on television today is the Western culture, and that has eroded a lot of our own traditional cultures, which is a very huge consequence. And to conclude on that, we still have a long way to go to independent journalism and opinion. But as we move forward, hopefully all of that will have the opportunity that at some point our journalists will be able to express themselves with honest opinion and disseminate information that is going to help the people.
Yes, Brooks, I would not just open the question to you. I'm going to close it a bit, following up from what Joe has said. TV has adulterated, if I should say, or kind of almost overwhelmed our cultures. Can we say that, like in other areas of life where we are catching up, can we now catch up and then reintroduce our culture and make sure that we assert ourselves, our cultural heritage on TV, and catch up with, well, TV was a Western concept and instrument.
Yeah. I remember in the 80s, when I came to Cameroon for the first time, and I saw TV, I should say I was impressed because the service was quite getting good. But honestly, when I look at TV today, I wonder whether you understand what we're going to do. Because when I look at the system today, the programming, we seem to copy much more what is happening outside as opposed to what we have on the ground. And I think that if we don't do any effort in the next few years, we might lose a lot of things. Culture that we have today, we have copied so many bad things from outside. I don't want to mention those things on TV, but I can say to you that we're losing a lot of things. But I can say that the good thing about TV is that we now know more about Cameroon. I didn't know about the North or the West, the South.
Exactly.
But because of this TV today, I can see how diverse Cameroon is and so much thing we can do. And I can tell you honestly, if we have the right programming on this TV, this would be promoting this culture we need, because recently I've seen so many things which might not be good. But I think that globally, TV has done a lot of things in Cameroon, and we can do much more than that.
Let me give you the official programming, the percentage of programming on CRTV. 80% local, 20% outside, if you like. That is the official policy on TV. That is to say we consume homemade information, even music and the rest, officially.
It should be like that.
Okay, thank you. Now to you, Prof. Mbarika, Prof. Victor Mbarika, what has TV done in 40 years in Cameroon to you?
Yeah, I was still a very little boy when TV came, and my dad had just gone to London. Around the same time, brought the television set to our house at Fulan, and a lot of neighbors would come to watch with us. So first of all, it created more friends, because in that area was full of people speaking their Wondo language, and I started learning as a kid. But the truth, just like the other panelists have rightly said, it helped some of us, even as children, to start learning about what our beautiful country, Cameroon, is. My parents are from Bamenda, but I hardly ever went there, but I got even to learn about my ancestry in Bamenda in the Northwest region through television. And so that was a very rich experience, and we have seen it, and thanks to many people that have sacrificed their lives, their careers, to see this come to the country, including people like the Director General that I started seeing as a little boy, and he's still right here working. I'm pretty sure people like him could work anywhere in the world, right? So we've seen this amazing aspect of television grow, and the country being open to private television. That could be very critical of the existing system, but it allowed Cameroonians to express themselves. That's the beauty of our great country, right? The fact that people could disagree and we still live in this amazing, peaceful society. So it's meant a lot to me, and we are thankful to people like you that keep pushing. And with the youth implementing technology, I see on your YouTube channel, you put your shows every time. So as an ICT person, I'm excited that you people are using a lot of technology. So congratulations to you and the rest of your colleagues.
Thank you so much. You were just talking about when TV started, and you cited our Director General, Charles Ndongo,
correct,
who covered 11 to 12 kilometers yesterday ahead of the staff of Cameroon as activities marking 40 years of TV. He, Adamu Musa, and 4 others sat there in Bamenda to launch television in Cameroon. And today he is here, and he can still walk around 12 kilometers. That is amazing.
Wow.
Now, with that, we're going to move into our focus for today. We are saying that our focus today is Cameroonian youth and the diaspora. What are their problems and what are the possible solutions to their problems? We are going to kind of establish a list of the problems of the diaspora, the problems of the youth, and then we'll move to seeing the possible solutions. And we can project also what if these solutions were delayed or did not come on time. I'm going to start with Cynthia. I don't know. There's no one here who can say who is the youngest of us all. I just want to decide to make you the youngest of us all. And you're going to start by telling us, what does a Cameroonian youth face as a problem?
All right. Thank you very much again, Killian. I want to think that unemployment and underemployment, it's the greatest challenge that is faced by Cameroonian youth. Quality of our education, it's a problem. The chunks or the numbers of students that graduate from our universities, they do not meet the needs of the labor market, which says that we just bundle them and send them out with certificates, BSc, MScs, PhDs. You and I saw a few weeks back PhD holders who staged the protest. It's become a norm for us to stage, peaceful protests to request for what we want. But this shouldn't be happening in a country like Cameroon. I think another issue that it's troubling Cameroonian youths, entrepreneurship challenges. There are lots of Cameroonian youths who have taken up created businesses for themselves, but in less than no time, these businesses close up. This is because of the regulations, taxes, which becomes a burden for most of them. And so you see many of them quickly just winding up. There's equally mental health. It's a problem. The social pressure, economic instability. I mean, their pressure, it's just from all over. It's societal. It's at the level of your job. It's at the level of where you find yourself. These things play a lot on the mental health of youths in Cameroon, and that's why you keep finding them every day, either through unorthodox or orthodox means, trying to seek greener pastures abroad. When you told me, Killian, that this was going to be a topic of discussion, I worry, and I worry because earlier this week there were reports about close to 15 Cameroonians who died somewhere along the Mediterranean Sea, trying to cross between Morocco and Tunisia, or Spain, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, and this happens every day. If you are on social media every day, it happens every day. And these are youths who keep trying to leave the country and seek for better conditions abroad. And I think one other thing that I also want to talk about is the fact that there is the marginalization of youths within decision-making bodies. So much for youths are the future of Cameroon. It's all talk, but very little action accompanies this. I shouldn't go so much into details. So I'm looking at the Cameroonian youth.
We will get into the details.
All right. So these are some of the challenges I feel that youth in Cameroon face.
And I tell you, these youth should identify with all these problems you have raised. We're going to get whether there are some other problems, beginning with you. We are at the level of problems. I'm noting them down. We'll go to solutions. Yes, Joe.
Yeah, Killian, that's true. I mean, Cynthia just made a cogent points there, some important points. One of the biggest problem of youth in this country is unemployment and underemployment, and she says it. And one of the problems there again is what you call in economics structural unemployment, which is a very big problem in our community today, because you have job opportunities out there, but the skills of the students are not ready for those jobs. That's what we call structural unemployment. Exactly. So it's about time that we have to, and I said last time again in a show, vocational training is not meant for you to go to a vocational school, but you can have a degree in literature. But when you get out of school, you can choose to go for a 3-month training on how to breed fishing in Cameroon, or how to breed poultry in Cameroon, or piggery. It takes 3-month training to do that, and you can get into the business. But like Cynthia said, the problem that everybody's looking at, they say, I don't have the capital. But when you say you have the capital, in the business world, we don't look at the capital to mean money. We look at the capital to mean brain, the creative thinking. That is the capital you need. Money, you can get into business without money. You can get into business with very little money. If young Cameroonians could raise 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, and put in individual's hands, telling them that I have a job for you in Ukraine, or I have a job for you in Kuwait, and you can pay that money, then I think the solution of some of these problems is right here. We just need to let them know how they can better structure the plan that will help them, rather than taking the risk of dying along the path traveling to unknown destination.
That was already a solution. I did not want to stop you.
I haven't got details in that.
We will come back to you. You can be sure that we're going to give you the time to go into the details. Yes, Mr. Brooks, do you have some other problems of the youth in Cameroon?
Well, Cynthia mentioned most of those points, of which I would add acculturation. We have the impression on the ground that the best is outside. We watch it on TV. We want to talk about TV early on. And social media, we look at this and we think that outside is the best. And we tend to ignore that what you have outside could be found on the ground. Now, acculturation is, you watch TV, you see New York, beautiful, you see Paris, beautiful, and you want to repeat Paris in Yaoundé. If you can't do it, you're lost. I think education is crucial, and we have to adapt this to our needs. I was pipelining in Cameroon last time. We couldn't find people to weld in Cameroon because we give the impression that this training is not serious. You need to have people who are trained to do all these jobs. So, number one is acculturation of the education. Learn and teach the people to love their own country. Now, if you watch New York beautiful than Yaoundé, you tend to go to New York. And I think we need to start looking at that. Unemployment is crucial, education is crucial, and programming. Doctor, you mentioned something which I like. Short training, 3 months. Because we have this habit in Cameroon to have long training. If someone is holding PhD in art, he might not be able to practically learn a job. Yet, if he could have access to a job, training, 3 month courses in accounting, in business economics, that would help a lot. But we don't seem to do it all the time, and that's a problem.
Yes, thank you so much. I think I'm now going to call on Professor Victor Mbarika to continue to list, because what I've discovered is that Cynthia virtually enumerated most of the problems,
yes.
And Joe started giving the solutions. You have continued giving the solutions. If Prof. Mbarika has one other problem he can raise, but I want him to go also into the solutions.
Thank you. I was wondering what other problem I can raise. So you guys have truly raised. See, we can sit here and talk about so many problems, but I'm so glad that you are drawing the aspect of solutions. But just one big problem, and this is just my experience coming to Cameroon just about every 2 to 3 months. The fact is, many youths have in their minds that the solution is government. Every time you see somewhere on social media and there is a problem, you will hear many youths say, the government should do this or the government should do that. And I continue to say, not even the government of the greatest nations of the world has the solution to the problems of the youth. So I have proposed a solution before, which you played on your show, when the head of state mentioned that I want to tell you the truth. We, the government, we are not the solution. We cannot promise to give all of you jobs you need. And that is the truth. You may not like how it sounds, but that is the truth. So I really have proposed, let's first of all, those in Cameroon, not look at the diasporans as all bad people. There is really, I know this is not good to say on television, there are people that truly hate diasporans just for being diasporans. There are people that truly see some of the atrocities a very small minority of diasporans do on social media and assume that diasporans are bad people. It is recorded here at CRTV where a journalist asked me a question whether I was one of those giving money to people in Amber to buy cartridges. It's on record here, so I can repeat it, right? I was a little offended. I'll be asked that question. But there are very good diasporans that love their country, that adore this country, and as opposed to what many people think, a lot of diasporans talk to me because they know my involvement here, that we want to invest in Cameroon. Correct. We just want to make sure the enabling environment is there. They have this fear to bring their money to Cameroon. And I want to talk to a very small minority of diasporans that you guys may not be aware of. There are multi-millionaire diasporans in dollars. I'm not talking CFA. And I have said, of the over 1,000 diasporans that are multi-millionaires outside this country, if just each of us take from our foreign investments 500 million per year, they're diasporans, more than 1,000 diasporans that can afford 500 million to invest here, not to give the country for free, to invest in Cameroon for 10 years. Each person would have invested 5 billion in 10 years. Correct. We just need 200 diasporans that can commit. And there is the environment, the enabling environment here, and I can say it from experience, to help diasporans to invest in this country. It is not true that all hope is lost. I'm talking 500 million francs per year for 10 years, that's 5 billion. If 200 do that, that's 1 trillion.
You have actually invested, you have succeeded to invest. Don't you think that you are lucky? Not that it doesn't happen to the others.
Well,
they come and they try to do that, they fail.
Well,
so they could tell a different story.
Well, guess what? I would argue that same point, that even investing in the most developed countries, people invest, some succeed, some fail. In my city, in the United States, the statistics are 80% of restaurants that are launched in my city in North Carolina fail. 80%. Okay. So it's just that it's called business. Yeah. Some work, sometimes business does not work. It has nothing to do with our beloved country, Cameroon.
Okay. It's not Cameroon. It's not a Cameroonian problem.
No, it's not.
Thank you. Now, I will start with you again. One of the issues Cynthia raised is quality of education.
Yes.
You are very much into education.
Yes.
What are the possible solutions to this problem?
Well, Killian, I am very much in education, but people don't realize that my major business is providing IT solutions to governments in developing countries. I do that all over the world, in the developing world, including India, where the current prime minister used to be the one that signed my earlier contracts to train Indians in technology. Now, education, absolutely, you cannot go away from it. And we are talking about education that matters. Please, we have had our faculties in the state universities and private universities that have departments that are no longer relevant. If you ask me, and I'm a professor, what is modern letters, I cannot tell you what you would do with a degree in modern letters. And I'm an endowed professor. I I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure we need a whole lot of more degrees in law. I'm not sure we need a whole lot of more degrees in geography, but we need degrees in geographic information technology, in geographic information systems.
We need lawyers because they need to defend you from criminals. They need to defend you when you are cheated. They need to defend you when someone
but we can go to more
violates your rights.
specialized areas of law. I'm not saying that all these things are bad. I'm pretty sure if you go to modern letters, I was just saying I don't know what modern letters is, but it's there. But I'm saying that some of those resources may be redirected into real practical things that can help people. I'm sorry, those people that were criticizing the PhDs that were protesting, I'm sorry, I'm against that kind of critic. Yes, they were protesting. Why? Because maybe in their training, they were not trained to be entrepreneurial with their PhDs. Not that these are bad people protesting, but again, let's look at protests in a positive way, that at the very least, God has blessed us in a country where you can protest.
Okay.
And none of them were killed. They express themselves, but that comes now to training people how to use those big degrees to make money.
Yes. Thank you so much. We have had so many criticisms against them. You are the one person, coming from a society where people have a right to protest. It can only be normal for someone like you to say, yes, come up and express yourself. You wanted to say before I go to Dr. Kennedy?
Exactly. Education is crucial, but train people to be entrepreneurs is crucial. Also, private sector. The question in Cameroon is that everybody must be a civil servant, but you can't be a civil servant all the time. Because you look at the salaries, for example. If you earn here something like 100,000 francs, in dollars, how much is that? Learning the private sector is crucial. We have to all learn to do business. It's crucial. We can't all be civil servants. And when Dr. Marika was saying, Professor Marika, I'm sorry, Professor Marika, when you said to yourself, you're going to be a civil servant in this country, if there is no private sector, how many lawyers can you train to do what? Train people to be entrepreneurs and learn the private sector principles. This is where you're going to make money. If there is no private sector anywhere, you cannot make any money at all.
Yes. Thank you. And Dr. Tuminta Kennedy is an economist. When you talk about entrepreneurship, that is just something that he can sleep and in his dream. He's giving you what it means. Yes, entrepreneurship is a problem. How is it a problem in Cameroon?
In fact, we need to understand that our country went through a certain structural transformation, but at the same time, the educational path to fulfill that gap was not aligned. Take, for example, after independence, we needed administrators to come in and make sure that they could take over what the leftover of the colonial masters. The second part was building the right infrastructures. We never had those people that were trained. If you look at most of our technical school, the commercial education and so on, they didn't create a space for these people to be active. And later on, the demand-driven side, which was the takeover by the government, created a very, very disincentive. And today, you could still find young people that are well-trained in the private sector, maybe in the educational sector. Once the governments launch a recruitment, they abandon everything and rush in there. There is a disincentive. Economics is just, the simple thing in economics is about incentive. Let's go to entrepreneurship. We need entrepreneurs at all levels: educational entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, institutional entrepreneurs, and political entrepreneurs. In which case, there are people who look at problem as a challenge, take this challenge as an opportunity, and convert it into products or services. Do we create the right mechanism that people who are maybe working within the administration, they are entrepreneurs because their job is to make sure that the system functions, facilitating access to information, facilitating access to incentives and so on. Are they doing the right job? Do we have political entrepreneurs, people who are elected by the people to create mechanisms so that people can live a fulfilled life? So at the same time, you're really right. Entrepreneurship is the key at all levels. Spiritual entrepreneurship, mental mindset. Entrepreneurs is not just not about buying and selling. People feel that it's just, I have to buy, I have to sell. As Professor Marika rightly said, all of us here are entrepreneurs, including you. before you present this program, you make sure you get the best guys, competitive guys to be on the table. You do your research. You make sure that you serve the interests of the televiewers. And that is what is needed at all levels. But the question is, do we see entrepreneurs as a process and as a means to an end? But that's where we have a problem. Do we have the right incentive? Sometimes no. The government did a lot in the past years. I have to be very clear. We created the infrastructures are there. They were not delivered at the right time. We are on import substitution. We need people with different mindset. But we are already 3 years into the import substitutions, getting to 2026 when it has to close. But have we been able to produce to make sure we subsidize?
Who should answer that question? Have we?
So are we?
Have we been able to produce?
I think the Minister of Small, there are two ministries that every time I get to, on this panel, I usually say we have to increase their budget. We want to make sure that the Ministry of Small and Medium-Sized Enterprises get the right budget. Secondly, we need the Ministry of Vocational Training, Issa Chiroma. We have to make sure we give them the right tools to get the modern letters, get those who are, let's say, wrongly skilled to be reskilled, to make sure that they can provide the necessary things. Prof, I think that with modern letters, things like social media, social marketing and things like that, we can convert them.
Yes.
Okay. If we are training them on translation, AI is already doing those things. So we need to make sure that we reskill. So I think that there is a lot that we can do.
Yes, I will come to Dr. John Gale, but before I come to him, he will take us to the next level. There is a point, one of the points that Cynthia raised. Many people may not understand. I don't even think that I understand it so well. Mental health as the problem of the youth. Yes, Doctor, I'll continue with you. Dr. Tumenta.
Yes.
Mental health.
Yes.
How is it a problem?
It's a big problem. If you look at certain statistics, the amount, the portion of our income that is being consumed by healthcare is so high. I am a product of the first mental health practitioner in Cameroon, post-independent. And today we run a modern and traditional mental health structure. You cannot imagine how many deaths people we incurred every year because people abandon their patient there. There is no health without mental health. And mental health provides everything, but the portion of our budget allocated to health, which is approximately 5.7 GDP, I think it's about 5.7 GDP, 5.7 of our GDP that we give to health. But for mental health, we cannot see it. Below the 15% that is being asked to be given to the health sector. So mental health plays a vital part. Anxiety, people lose their job, people don't know where they have to go. And again, Killian, let us say it here. The biggest challenge in this country is not just about youth. It's about the population between 45 and 57. This population, most of them never had a job. They were trained. They went out of school, there was no employment, and this population, they are just getting out to retirement without ever having a job. So what I'm saying is the anxiety and mental health that these people have is a big problem. It's a big problem.
Thank you.
And let me say this, Kilem, before Joe come in. I believe that if we want to build a structural transformation, we have to make sure that we have programs for the youth, for the women, and for this population that are going out without anything.
Thank you so much. Well said. Yes, you may have to react to that, Dr. Joe, but you will open the last chapter of our discussion, which will be what if the problems are not solved. We have not even gone to the diaspora per se. We have just touched that. So we'll touch on diaspora a bit, then with you, and you open the last chapter because we have about 13 minutes left to the end of this program.
Well, that's
yes, we open what are the problems? You mentioned some of them that the diaspora face. You, all of you, the four of you here are Cameroonian diaspora. Can we have them? Is it double nationality?
Yeah, Killian, one of the biggest problems we have as diasporans is the issue where we still delaying harnessing our citizenship. That if you live in the United States, I'm a citizen in the United States, I'm not supposed to claim citizen in Cameroon. And that double
identity, nationality
is, I mean, we all Cameroonians. I'm here every year. I come to the studio. How many Americans do you receive in this studio to come and talk about Cameroon problems? And yet you still address me as an American. So, which is wrong. And look at the statistics of the Ministry of Finance. See how much money comes into this country. Almost $500 billion that's coming to this country from diaspora, fueling our economy. If not of the diaspora, unemployment in this country will be hitting 60% and plus.
Yeah, so lack of the double nationality is one.
Yes, and then number two, the business environment. The business environment is so difficult. One of the biggest problems we have now is taxation issues. It's difficult to even break through taxation code because lots of people don't even understand what the tax system is in this country. So when you come and then go even to taxation office, you'll be given more than 10 types of explanations. And then number two, which is a problem now based in this country, is we're addressing youth problem. And one of the biggest problems we have with the youth today is that of employee theft. I'm telling you, if we don't do anything, businesses will crumble. Because if research studies that are made, I made a research study in 2016, I looked at other researches after that, every single one is pointing on employee theft to be the most difficult thing to handle in our economy.
What is employee theft?
Employee theft is when employees stealing from the businesses. You can steal money, you can steal time. I mean, how many hours do you spend working in a job that you paid for a full salary? How many times do you swindle money into a different account to benefit yourself? All of that bring down the businesses. But Keelan, I cannot leave you, let me addressing this because with our youth today, they constitute close to 70% of Cameroon population. That tells you there is high dependency rate in this country. Think about it. How are we going to solve this problem? It's going to result into crime wave increasing, social problems are going to be mounting, and mental health, as she mentioned, is even going to double in this country. So the only way we can do is let's not copy the concept of the Chinese concept. And let me quickly tell you how the Chinese concept worked. You live in China and you have a 400-meter square land where you build a little house. Chilean, that is the space you have to build your own economy, to sustain you the whole year. But we have vast land and we cannot make use of it. And let me give you an example. If we're talking about capital, I told you capital doesn't mean money, it's brain. It begins from the brain because money is so little for you. If money was a problem, somebody would not have 2 million to pay somebody to go to diaspora. So we don't have the problem of money, we have the problem of capital, which is the brain work. Okay, how do you do that? One of the best positive opening today we have in this country, I don't know if people know that.
Tell us.
Agro-business. We do not have any other thing that we can better our life and change the youth other than agro-business. Correct. Every other thing is a dream. Exactly. It's an empty dream. And let me tell you how agro-business...
Let us say that agro-business is the main thing. The others also can work. But
ICT will work. How the path to get to there? It's not easy. You have to trade in a formal education to become an ICT specialist. But let me tell you how agro can help the youth problem with little or no education. That is what I'm talking about. If, for example, you create a poultry farm. Okay, you just take a 4-meter land square. Let me tell you the concept of the Chinese. Behind the building of their house, they will just take 5-meter square of land and build a little pond and put 30 fishes in there. Okay? And within 6 months, you feeding them. They grow. 30 fishes, 3,000 of those little species in this country cost 100,000 francs or less. And ask anybody in this country, rather in Yaoundé, for you to buy a kilogram of those fish, how do we even call those fish again that are red in this country?
Cynthia, tell us.
Sorry?
Mackerel?
No, not mackerel. The other kind
Crab?
of fish.
Tilapia?
Not tilapia. Tilapia is one of them.
Yes.
If you look at a kilogram, I researched it. Catfish.
Catfish.
If you look at the catfish, a kilogram of catfish in
It's
this
so
country,
interesting. By summarize, we have to go around it.
right, it's about 3,500 francs.
Yes.
And you have 3,000 fishes. Do that at the end of 6 months. You're going to make 10.5 million. And let me tell you how you reduce the cost of feeding in catfish. On top of the little pool where you rear fishes, you build the chicken herd on top of it with open barbed wires that the chicken would use the droplings and put in there and become the feeding for the fish.
Thank you.
And you produce eggs
Thank you.
that can make a lot of money.
Thank you so much. Cynthia, you have 2 minutes, and then I will go to Professor Victor Barika and Mr. Brooks.
All right.
Yes.
I think the members of the panel have already outlined a series of solutions to the problems faced by youth. And I would just want to conclude by saying that we equally, as youths, we need a shift in our mindset. It's not all about civil service. It took me the grace of God after university to understand that I didn't have to rely on a government job. I mean, I wrote concours about 5 times and I became scared that my parents may think that I did copy work in school, and I stopped and I had to think out of the box. So youth must equally take the responsibility and exploit these opportunities that have been provided for by the government, because some it's ignorance and lack of knowledge of these opportunities. There are private initiatives too meant to promote or to encourage youth. And above all, I wanted to conclude by talking about the fact that we must equally address the issue of corruption and inequality, because that's a great thing that is equally affecting youth in this country.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Now I'm going to give the 5 minutes left for our discussion to Professor Victor Barika and to Mr. Brooks. You tell me you have some projects. Who is going to start? I have no preference.
Well, I had so much to say about this. The environment. Professor Barika mentioned something earlier on about environment. He didn't elaborate, but the environment is crucial. Do you know how many Cameroonians dream of coming back home? There are millions of them in all sectors. In the U.S. and in NASA, you have about 20 Cameroonians in the NASA alone. And many scientists in the NASA are willing to come back to Cameroon. But the environment is such that whenever you try to do something in Cameroon, you have to fight. Even fight more than you do outside. Then corruption. I don't want to talk about myself, because God knows what I tried to do in the country when I came back a few years back. Abroad by the toll gates. Ken, you know about this? I lost it. Ask me why. I will tell you what happened. Right now, we are busy on a massive project. We can create about 1,000 jobs. Busy working on it right now. And we hope we're going to have it.
Which project is it?
Well, we will talk about this with Professor Barika later on, because it's quite an amazing project. Cameroon economy needs private sector. We're not going to have private sector. We're busy working on it. And I think that this we can do something with the university and do something together. Environment and corruption. You cannot achieve a good deal in this country if you don't face those issues. Environment is what? Competition with your own government. You have Cameroonians coming to Cameroon to face more dangers in Cameroon outside, because no one helps you in whatever you do. Instead of having government backing you up, government opposes you. As a result, you look at what you do outside, you look at Cameroon itself, you say to yourself, is it worth doing it? So the environment is crucial to have the private sector organized in this country.
And as you say, we also have to face corruption right on its face.
Exactly.
Now, the story you are telling, Professor Victor Barika has said it so many other times. He is saying it, he said it earlier here. That he has, without any bribe, succeeded in getting certain things through in this country. Can you then tell us how you have gone through without bribery, without difficulties, and also what other projects you have for this?
Well, I would not say without difficulties. People do, there's bribery and corruption. We know that. But what I was saying is that for a good part of the projects I've done, not just in Cameroon, but in other African countries, even in the middle of the challenges of bribery and corruption, there are still a lot of things that can be done and done right. But please permit me to delve into just the project that I'm planning with some partners from Brazil. And I'll be talking with my brother here. Many people are blaming the youths that they are lazy, they don't like agriculture, and they should be entrepreneurial. I agree. But, we should always be also practical. How do you convince a young man or a young woman who has always seen agriculture as something for poor people to get into agriculture? So one of the things we are working with some partners in Brazil and some people in Cameroon is to introduce what we call e-agriculture. With e-agriculture, you bring in robotics, you bring in artificial intelligence, you bring in a lot of aspects of ICTs that young men and women want to do. But behind it, they will be doing agriculture. But we bring in technologies that are exciting for young people.
Is that like setting more sophisticated machines to do the work?
Computing as well as sophisticated machines on ground. And I must admit it costs a lot of money. And that's why I'm a little selfish, but I'm talking about investors, diasporans, with the money to be able to, what they have made abroad, to bring in, to be able to carry out such projects. And we intend through this, we are working with some parts of the East and the Adamawa, to be able to finally employ 4,000 youths in the next 10 years, including targeting some young people from North and Southwest to get them out of the nonsense war they're involved in, so they can be able to get excited about technology. But behind it, we get them to do agriculture, and it employs them, it gives them jobs, but makes them their own entrepreneurs. Each of them will have about a hectare of plot to be able to do something that will eventually become their business.
Thank you. If I see any entrepreneurial Cameroonian in that sector, I will say, Professor Victor Mbaraka is my friend. Come. Let me take you to that person. Let us hear from Dr. Kennedy.
Yes, I just wanted to say that there are a lot of instruments that the government has put in place. We have to be fair. The Ministry of External Relations has a department in charge of the diasporas. We need to make sure that they accompany us to get those agreements. The second thing is that the Ministry of Youth and Civic Education has put a program that is actually fostering the diaspora's investment. Any young Cameroonian diaspora that wants to invest in Cameroon, there are programs in the ministry that they are actually matching and supporting their investment. And last but not the least, I think one of our colleagues on the platform said that we should make sure that the MINRESI, the Ministry of Scientific Research, has put in incubators. We need incubators at all levels, and government needs to pump in money. The incubators in ICT and other private universities, we need to give them money so that they can take these young people from ideas to enterprises.
Our time is up. Dr. John Gale, if you promise that you use 30 seconds, I give you. On.
Killian, thank you for giving me the 30 seconds. But I think at the end of it all, we're not discouraging people who have the opportunity. I use the word opportunity because if you have the chance to travel abroad, you can as well do that. But what we try to discourage is the risk of going through the desert and high seas to greener pastures, which would never, ever happen.
Thank you so much, lady and gentlemen. Thank you for giving us your time wherever you have been watching us. And we promise we'll be here next week on Sunday with another edition of Press Hour. Once again, thank you for coming. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
So sharp, man. So sharp. It's getting hotter.